And we're back. So, January, first weekend of January. Well, technically the second weekend of January. The first was the first weekend. But anyhow, early January, things are finally starting to percolate along. We've had the car now for a couple weeks and been kind of piddling around on it here and there. Obviously the holidays were there, Christmas and New Year's. Hopefully everybody had a good one. Mine and Brandon's was pretty good. Christmas was good. New Year's, you know, we did the New Year's thing and drank a little bit too much, so you'll have that. But anyhow, we're back at it now. Finally starting to get some parts in. We got the rack in this week, which was something that we were waiting for to kind of finish putting the front end together and be able to go through and set all the bump steer and set all the front end settings like we need to. The next big thing that we're waiting on is the rear end. Once we get the rear end, we'll be able to do the bird cages, get the rear end in the car. And then we were kind of waiting on getting the brake lines. That was something we bought the car without brake lines because you always think like, oh, I could probably do it better or cheaper or easier. And I'm probably just as much or more money into what it would have cost just to get the brake line kit and just be done with it, but whatever. We ran copper nickel on this car. It's a lot easier to work with than standard steel brake line. It's just a lot more flexible and forgiving. But that being said, there's still some stuff you got to cut and flare, and it's something you don't do every day. So inevitably, you screw a piece or two or 10 up, and you're fighting with it. So we got all the brake lines done. Some buttoning up yet to do in the front, but everything's on there. Everything's ran where it needs to be run. And then, like we said, we got the rack in this week. Brandon was able to go through and get that put on. Get the left front suspension all bolted on, and we already had the right front suspension bolted on. So now it's just a matter of going through and doing all our bump steers, setting all our front end geometry. We did tear the door bars off the car and the side panels just to have more access into the car. You know, like when you're running brake lines, you got to do some pop ribbon down along the cockpit just to hold everything in place and keep it where you want it. But all that's done. Steering shafts up in there. And then, like I said, we should be seeing the rear end here within the next week or two, hopefully, and that'll let us really keep moving on, because then you get the lift bar and the 6-coil and all that stuff in, get the rear end in and hanging, bird cages on, go ahead and bleed brakes at that point in time with the new calipers coming, get them all on, and then hopefully at that point we can get the transmission ordered, get that in, and get the dry sump tank in. We got the new tank sitting over there.
You want to show them? You want to show them the new sweet bird cages?
Yeah, we can get those.
They're not your standard Schwartz bird cages.
And this is nothing. I mean, we've ran standard Schwartz bird cages now for years, never had an issue with them. But Brandon wanted to do a little bit something different this year, so we did go with the BSB bird cages.
Which is the standard company that Audi uses.
Yep.
And, you know, the on-center, all the bolt patterns supposed to be pretty much the same as the standard ones you'd get from Schwartz, except these are a double shear. As you can tell, what I mean by double shear is you got this part, or this tab and this tab, and your weight gets distributed across them both, and they're 2 shear points. Whereas like the standard ones that come from Audi, it's just one piece that comes up and it mounts to that, and it would be a single shear.
You know, there's a handful of theories on what makes sense, what works better. Does it matter? Do you lengthen the barrel out? Do you go with a double shear? On and on, right? I'm not an engineer and I don't have all the data from the different load points, but this makes sense and I don't think it's going to hurt us. So we're going to give these a try. Shout out to BSB. They don't sponsor us or anything like that, but I've talked to them folks several times now on the phone and just needed different brackets and different things like that. And they're always super friendly when you call down there. They'll get you any part number you need. They'll get your stuff shipped out right away. Just a phenomenal company to work with.
Like you see,
yeah.
That was a beautiful piece. Nice and pretty and shiny.
And so, yeah, shout out to BSB, because really appreciate, there's nothing like calling a company and getting service. They don't know us from anybody. And every time you call down there, they're just, the ladies that answer the phone are super friendly, super helpful, pretty much get you anything you need. So if you need bird cages or anything like that, BSB is the company of our choice.
And on another note, on the last video, we did get a comment about somebody didn't didn't get to see the car as much as they wanted to. So we're gonna do a quick address of that, and we'll kind of point out some of the things that are going to be different on this car than from the car we were running, which was a 2017. This is 2023, obviously. If you notice right here on this frame rail, this is one thing that's different. Our car would, the right rear tire would always come up here and just nick this frame rail. So he calls this, it used to be called a mod tail, but this is a new thing that all the cars have it now, no matter what. It was an option before. But yeah, it's got a bend in here. I don't know how well you could really see it on camera, but it bends in here to give you some more tire clearance. That's one thing. Some differences in 4-bar and shock mounts. It's nothing that you're really going to see a lot with your naked eye, but if you know it, then you know what's going on. And I'm not going to go into grave detail about that. There's some bar differences as far as kicker bars and support bars. Over here on the right side, there's some differences in that stuff. This car's obviously got the side panels that we had on here that now aren't on here because pretty much they don't need to be on there until it's race time. Some of the other things that are different from that last car to this car is on like this upper A-frame. Before, we had to take these all apart, take this back shaft out and come around this and mount back here. Well, he went ahead and extended this in so we can mount outboard, which, I mean, it works out good for like if you knock the left front off at the racetrack, it's a lot easier to change out your upper control arm, whereas before it was kind of a process. It's got little clips in there and everything else, and you're pulling them apart and the little balls can fall out of the ball bearings that are in there, and it could just be a pain, you know. As far as speed goes, that was really what made it easy. It's just trying to speed it up if you're doing it at the track, because things do get bent, things do get broken, and sometimes you're at the track changing stuff. The halo, this is raised an inch, and then he had a car flip, that was 2021, 2022, whatever year, 2021 at Brownstown, and it didn't not do what it was supposed to do, but he didn't like it because after the wreck, I mean, it did what it was supposed to. The driver walked away from it fine, but he had noticed that this bar right here had shifted. It didn't hold true to where it should have hold. I mean, it was a real bad flip. The dude, I don't know if you guys seen it or not, but he flipped over the bank and went off the track, and like it was a big drop to where he landed, and it like hit right here and shoved this over. And he went ahead, and this is upgraded from 1.5 inches to 1.75 inches now. This is different from our car, but he's been doing this a couple years now. The secondary, pretty much head shoulder support bar, which most guys are doing now, Longhorn, Rocket, and all that stuff. Other than that, you know, some other processes as far as, you know, the manufacturing are different, but you know, that's inside trade secrets he's doing, so I'm not gonna disclose those on the old YouTube channel. But you know, there's differences, and then, you know, and the way he's doing things, the process he's doing down there on the jig's different, which hopefully helps with consistency and stuff like that. So, you know, this is definitely a better piece. Anything else you could think of?
Yeah, the right side frame rail is raised up more than it was from the 17 car. The K member is raised up another 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch more than it was in the 17 car. Like Brandon said, some of this stuff he's been doing over the last couple of years, but drastic differences from our car to this car, those are pretty big. And then like Brandon said, you know, he's got some trade secrets, some stuff that he figured out in the manufacturing process that are really helping these cars a lot, and truing everything up, getting everything way more consistent, helping with the stress in the chassis and things like that. So the other thing that, you know, we opted for, something that he started doing a couple years ago, is we got the tabs that, if you remember, we did this on the 17 car, just to make the front hood pins something that bolt on and can move if we were to get in an accident. So we got that option on the new car. Same with the bumper option that he had been doing for a couple years. So this was just some of the stuff we had the opportunity buying a new car to say, hey, make sure the new car has all these lists of things that we wanted upgraded and that we upgraded already on the older car. But no, other than that, like I think Brandon covered most of the updates. You know, that's different from our car to this car. And then, like we said, if you guys have been paying attention all the way, Drown's been running, and these I'm very confident that this car is definitely going to be better than the 17 car. Yeah, slow going. Like we said, it's kind of slow going, waiting on parts, waiting on, you know, just a bunch of big ticket key items that are going to really, you know, I'd say in the next month or so, you guys are going to start seeing like, oh, things are coming together and this thing's really starting to look like a race car. So you got the seat coming from Butler Built. Like we said, the rear end, transmission's got to come yet. Oh, we did drop some of the motor stuff off to the motor builder this weekend, which is a good step. Hopefully they'll have that kind of stuff turned around and back to us in a couple weeks here, and then we can reassemble things and get that side of the project going. So just a lot of moving pieces right now. This is a crazy time of the year. A lot of money getting spent, a lot of work to do, and a lot of fluid moving pieces that require coordination. So it's slow going on the progress side of things, but it doesn't mean that there's not a whole bunch of stuff going on in the background.
But on another note, we did tell you that we were going to show you what we picked up while we were down getting this car, and we haven't done it yet. So we're going to, now that we're not like negative 35 degrees with the wind chill and holiday weekends and whatnot, we're going to take a trip on over. The race shop is not at, you know, BJ's house. This is Dad's shop. We've kind of always wrenched out of one shop. So this is Dad's shop, but our other purchase is over at BJ's house. So we're going to hop in the old beater with a heater and run on over there and take a quick video of the other purchase that we picked up while we were down at Schwartz Race Cars. So, all right, what's going on? So here it is. It was a 95? 93?
1993 and all of her Chevrolet glory.
Yeah.
We're gonna change that green. I don't know if he thought it was a John Deere or wanted to be a John Deere. I don't know. But we're gonna change that. But no, this is the newest purchase. Traded the old Cummins for this thing, which was bittersweet for me. Brandon didn't care. He gave zero. Yeah, he gave zero. You know, but.
F's.
Yeah, but I cared. That truck was sentimental to us, or to me. Put a lot of window time in with that thing, and she did us really good all last year and the years previous to that. So it was time to upgrade. It was time to move up in the world a little bit, and this is the next step. You know, we did fine last year with what we had, a few hotel stays and several stays in Mom and Dad's camper, and we made it work. But if we're going to do some traveling like we plan on doing again this year, this was the next step, and this was within the old budget.
We needed something that, you know, the problem was before is like if we were going somewhere, either me and BJ had to get a hotel room, which is sketchy in itself. I mean, you're pulling a big truck in a trailer, and then you're leaving your $100,000 worth of equipment in a trailer at a hotel parking lot and places you don't know, you know, which that's scary in itself. But then, you know, time wise, you have to leave the track. You know, if we get out of there at 1 o'clock, it might be an hour to the next hotel. We have to get on the road, get loaded up, get on the road and get there, you know. Or if we're staying at the same track, we have to shut everything up and get to the hotel and then come back to the same track. So we needed something that me and BJ could just, if we were the only two heading out on the road to go racing, we could do that, and we could, you know, be able to sleep and have a place to eat and sleep and shower and use the bathroom and stuff like that while we're on the road. So, you know, that way, you know, Mom and Dad, they take vacation, they want to be at every race they can, but, you know, sometimes me and him we'll want to take off for a week, and, you know, they just can't take off for a week and, you know, go out with us. So we needed something we could do that stuff with.
Yep. And, you know, not only that, I mean, sometimes we go out and we want to run Friday night somewhere, and like he said, Mom and Dad can't get off or whatever. It doesn't make sense for them to come, and we ran into that situation last year a couple of times, and it's just a nice, convenient thing, you know. We have situations where maybe Mom and Dad need to get back home on Saturday morning, but the next track's only a few hours away, so it ain't a big deal for them to drive back, whereas for us to drive back with diesel and all that stuff, it doesn't make sense. So this was a good opportunity. Came up on the old Facebook machine, and it was a good opportunity to get into something that'll let us be a little more autonomous on the road if we need to be. So like we said, it's not a showpiece by any means. It's not busted by any means either. It just needs a little bit of love, a little bit of work. Yeah, we'll take you on in there. It's a 93 Chevy Kodiak Low Pro, 06 or 07 conversion. We got it to where we can pull our same trailer, because I don't know about you guys, but I don't have 30-40 grand to spend on a trailer right now. So I don't think the trailer prices are going anywhere anytime soon. So we're able to just hook right to our same trailer and use that. It's a small enough rig that things will still look proportioned, probably look all right. So take you on in here. I mean, there's not a lot of light in here right now, but you know, it's just simple. It's the basics. You're standing in my light, the few little bit of light that I got. It's just the basics. You know, you got a bed up there, you got the dinette that turns into a bed, then you got a couch that turns into a bed as well. Simple tiny little cooktop, tiny little sink, microwave, which is what you do most of your cooking out of, and then just a little shower back here, and then the bathroom on this side here. So, and a little TV if you want some entertainment. So yeah, it's nothing super luxurious or glorious. It's not a 5150 or anything like that, but it's more than we've ever had. Front side here is kind of what it looks like if you're sitting in the driver's compartment. It is a 6-speed. It's got the Caterpillar motor in it. It's not fast by any means. It probably never will be, but that's all right. Both those seats are air ride seats. So the passenger is very excited about that. I mean, once I told him it had air ride seats, he said, all right, what are we going to do to buy it? So that was something he complained about all last year. So it's one of those purchases where you certainly don't need it. There's a lot of guys that run really well up and down the road, put a lot of window time in, and don't have anything like this. You know, they're and we've done it too. We've slept out of the enclosed trailer at the track with a little space heater for heat when it's cool in the spring. You know, it's not a needed thing by any means, but it sure is convenient. It sure is nice, and we're certainly looking forward to having something like this. Like we said, we got a little bit of work to do. She needs a little bit of love. But yeah, we'll get her all cleaned up and polished up, and you know, get a few things fixed up on it, and hopefully this thing will run us up and down the road for the summer without no issues, and in a little bit more comfort than what we had.
Scaled from a pickup to a medium semi. This is not a full-blown semi.
Right. Yeah, not by any means.
We just upscaled what was kind of within the budget.
Yeah, exactly. So, yep, that's the second purchase. That was all part of the whole trip, going down to Schwartz and getting the car and then back across the state. So, you know,
this guy was out of Clarksville.
Yeah, Clarksville, Tennessee is where this guy came from.
He
so
drove up, met us in Cincinnati, and
yep, and so it turned into a whole hell of a long day, but made it all the way back here. So it had, I don't know, 6-8 hours of drive time trip on it. So other than the few little leaks and gremlins that it's got, obviously it can make it up and down the road. So we'll go through it, get in a shop, go through it, and make sure that everything's up to snuff for the season. And like Brandon said, we'll get some stuff cleaned out. We'll be able to get a CB in this thing so we can talk to truckers. And it does got air horns on it, so hopefully we don't have to use them all that often. But
we don't have no power, so
yeah,
when you're in a truck like this, you need an air horn to express your
anger. Yeah. You know how it was last year in the drives that we had. We had a few situations where something louder than a pickup truck horn would have been nice. But I'm thinking that this year, 2023, everybody's probably turned a new leaf, and everybody will be cool, calm, and collected out on the road. So
that's not true.
It's probably not true, but it's worth thinking about, right? So anyhow, again, if you haven't done it yet, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate it. Really starting to see it take on some shape, and the videos are getting some more views, and the subscriptions are climbing up there, and that's really cool to see. So we appreciate that. But we're gonna get some dinner on this Sunday night and start the new week. Take care.